So yesterday I was unable to share the link for yesterday's tutorial. I'll share both the links today before I go to bed. And I hadn't started recording because I was just solving a doubt. So if I hope you have understood my explanation. If not, I can repeat myself. I don't mind. So basically, you just have to style your icon the same way you style your other tags. It's as simple as that. And what you can do, instead of writing this I tag again and again, you can just paste that particular class in your A tag. Okay, save it, refresh it. You see, without that I tag as well, it's still working. Say instead of A tag, you have opened a paragraph tag, all right? And you want that icon in your paragraph tag. So you have to make sure you remove this href, okay? Because you won't be sending that person anywhere. So now that icon is in a paragraph tag, okay? I even if I hover over on it, it will still be in a pointer shaped cursor, and it won't have any effect. Like if I just click on it, so it won't give any effect on my browser. So anyone else has a doubt regarding the previous sessions? Yes, you can increase the size of the icon. Like I'm right now have 75 pixels. Okay, you feel 75 pixels is still small. What you can do, you can add more size. Just you have to write font size. Okay, how we write for this particular. So it has increased itself. Okay, so there's someone who's saying that the icon is not being seen. So what happens, there are few icons which have a style sheet being linked, and there are few icons which have a script, a JS script, which you have to add in your head tag, which will make your icon appear in your browser. So see, if I just remove that script, you see I've linked a script. Okay, script src equals to single inverted commas https:// and so on. So this is a script which is allowing this icon to be seen. If I just remove this script, save my browser, I save my code, I refresh my browser, you see I have nothing being displayed. So there are few icons which have a style sheet which has to be linked. There are few icons which have to have a script which has to be linked with your browser. So you see over here, this FA keys icon, it requires the linking of your JavaScript script. Okay, so you have to make sure you link the script. What you can do if you have to find out whether you have to link a script or else style sheet, just go to that particular icon and you just click on try it, and you see what is written in your head tag. If there's a script which has to be added, you just copy that script and you add that script. Okay, so there are icons which require a style sheet. Okay, if I just navigate to a few of them, say chess, let's see. This one is also using a script, but yesterday we had practiced on a few icons which required a style sheet. If I just,
So the anchor has a style sheet.
pardon?
The Fafa anchor.
Yeah, so there are few icons which have a style sheet and few which have a script. So make sure you add that particular syntax in your head tag, otherwise it won't work. So try doing that. If it still doesn't work, just let me know. Or else you can share your screen after like 10 o'clock. You can just wait back in the class and I shall solve that doubt. If anyone else has a problem, they can just raise it right now and then we shall proceed with the class. So I'll just remove this old code so that there's no confusion left. All right, I just remove it. So you'll recall we had learned how to add borders. Okay, so we had learned how to add borders in your HTML document. Okay, so we had learned three types of borders. One was dashed, one was solid, and one was dotted. So there are few more styles of borders which you can add in order to make your text even more decorative. But I generally don't use borders so much. But I'll just show it to you all. So say you have your h1 tag and you have written some text in it, okay? And then I'll just copy this h1 tag. Okay, I'll change this h1 to say h2 and this h3. Can anyone tell me which will be the largest font, H1, H2, or H3? Just a basic question.
H1.
Yes, correct, H1. And the more you increase the number, the smaller the font becomes. Okay, if I just save it, I refresh my browser. You see, I have some text in my document. Okay, and I'll use some external styling. Okay, so say if I want to add a border to my h1 tag, what do? I open my h1 tag and I just simply write border and then colon, and then you write the size of the border, say like 2 pixels, solid, or else dashed, or else dotted. So there are other styles as well. So there's a style name double. Okay, and then say you want it green in color. Okay, give it, refresh my browser. All right, yeah, I haven't linked my style sheet, sorry. If I just go ahead and link my style sheet, so there's another sort of border which you can add. So we had dashed, we had dotted, and now we have a style of border known as double. Okay, so if I just link my style sheet and I keep it to this border 2 pixel, and instead of dashed, solid, or dotted, I've written double. So right now it's showing very small. If I just increase it to say 6 pixels, you see a double border being displayed. If I just zoom in it, so you all can see this particular text has a double border and it no longer has a single border. So you can do that easily just by writing double. We had learned solid, we had learned dashed, we had learned dotted. So similarly, we have something known as double. So you can just double your border. And then if I just go ahead, I'll show you all one more border. Okay, border style and border, say 5 pixels. And then there's another style of border known as inset. Inset, and I'll give the color red. Okay, I'll save it. I refresh my browser. So you see it has this particular style, like the top one is a bit dark and the down one is a bit light. So the inset allows you to have like a variation in your border, like the top one is dark and the bottom one is light. So you can add another style. Say if you want the top one to be lighter and the bottom one to be a bit dark, what you can do, instead of inset, we'll write outset. So okay, so border 5 pixels, outset, and I'll keep it red. You can see. You see my next border. It has a lighter shade on the top portion and a darker shade on the bottom portion. So in inset you have a darker portion on the top and a lighter portion below. And in outset you have a lighter portion on the top and the darker portion below. You can change this color to say blue or else yellow or else pink as you wish. So if I just change it to blue, so you see I have a darker color blue comparatively and a lighter color blue on the bottom section. So have you all understood this? It was just some basic sort of styling of your borders. If you all have understood it, I shall proceed. So we learn these borders and then I'll add a paragraph tag. Okay, I'll give it a class. Okay, lorem class say p1, and I'll add another paragraph and I'll give this class say p2. Okay, save it. I refresh my browser. You see I have two paragraphs in my document. So I'll just, it's 100%. And I will style these two classes. So P1, the full stop and the name of the class. And then I'll add a border with this particular style, say 6 pixels. And then there is another style known as ridged. Okay, and then the color. Say I like mm, aqua. I save it, I refresh it. So you see, if I just zoom inside, there's a double border with the entire border having a lighter shade on the outside, and it looks like kind of a frame. It gives a 3D image. So there is a light shade on the outside. There is dark shade as well on the outside. If you look at this portion from here till here, like the bottom and the right side, if you look, the outer section has a darker color, and the inner section on the top and the left side, it has a darker color inside. So if you write ridged, so and then the name of the color, so it gives you look like a frame. So it gives a 3D kind of a view. Of course, even these two, inset and outset do, but ridged is also one particular style which you can use. And there is another border style is groove. Okay, groove, and I write same color. Okay, aqua. You see, it is inverting the colors. Just on the top and the left, it is showing the darker shade, and on the bottom and on the below section, it is showing a lighter shade. So if I just increase it to 10 pixels, so I think it will be much more clear to all of y'all. You see on the top and the left hand side, it has a darker shade, and in the ridged section, if you go to see on the top and the left side, it has a lighter shade. Okay, so you can use these two as well in your borders. So we have learned how many, like 8 types of borders which you can add in your HTML document. So there is solid, there is dashed, there is dotted, there is double, inset, outset, ridged, and groove. So these are the 8 borders which we have learned, border styles, which you can use according to your need and according to your flexibility. And that was all about borders. If you want to practice it, you all can practice it afterwards. I'll just copy this particular code and I'll share it in the chat box. So y'all don't lose this code. Okay, I'm just sharing the styling. What y'all can do, y'all can use a different class, or else if you want to use a different sort of tag, like you want to give the border to your tag, or else to a form input field, so you can do that as well. Okay, I've just shared the code of the styling, so you can use it. And if y'all have a doubt, y'all can just raise that doubt right now. Y'all can try it out, I think, afterwards. Just now we learned how to add a few more styles in your borders. So I'll teach you something related to colors as well. So yesterday we learned about hex colors. Okay, I think so. So today we learn a bit about RGB colors and RGBA colors. So say if you have an H1 tag, okay, and I write something over here, I save it, and okay, I'll remove this. And if I want to give a color, so what we generally do is we write the name of the color, say red, blue, green, yellow, and we have learned how to add a custom color that is in the hex format, in the hex style. And there is RGB style as well, which stands for red, green, and blue. Sorry. And if you want to use that, you can use that as well. It just provides you with more customization in your color. I'll just show you all. Suppose if I want to add a color to my H1 tag, and I write color and then RGB. Okay, RGB and RGBA both are a bit different. So I'll use RGB. And then we have values. In the red we have till 220 255. In the green we have till 255, and in the blue we have till 255. So if I just go in my color picker and I select a particular color, okay, so you see all this color is within limit 255. So if I just go to my black, okay, the darkest form of black, it goes to 0, 0, 0, and 0. And if I go to the brightest white section, and you see the maximum limit is 255, 255, and 255. So within these limits you can add a sort of a number. Okay, in the hex format we had alphabets as well, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, and numbers till 9. In this RGB we have numbers till 255, and we have no letters in it. So say if I want to add this shade of yellow, so I'll just copy this RGB code and I'll paste it within my bracket over here. Okay, I'll save it, and once I refresh my, oops, once I refresh my browser, you see I have this particular yellow color being displayed. Now you'll say that no, I want a bit more blue shade to my color. Okay, so what will I do? Instead of 118, what I will add is, I'll say I'll add 130. Okay, once I add 130, it hasn't changed much. So what will I do? I'll just change one more value. Okay, this, I'll make it 295, and I'll make this 2. And you see, if you carefully observe, the color has changed. Okay, so if I just make an extreme change, okay, so from 100 I'll make it to 230, save it, refresh it. You see there's a blue color shade. Okay, I'll change this to 55, which is the maximum limit. So you can see the color has been changed. So if I add a background, you all will be able to see this color easily. Background black, and save, refresh. So you all can see this color. And once I customize these colors, so say I feel the red is too much, I'll decrease it to say 24 only. So you see the blue has increased, and the green is having the maximum limit, that is 255. So if I just decrease my blue to say 130, I save it, refresh it, you see I have a darker color green, and green is even more prompt. So I can reduce this as well to 155. You see now it's between green and blue. So it's almost like you can say it is like a dark green or else sort of a sea green sort of a color. Okay, so y'all can customize your color according to your need. The maximum limit in an RGB color is 255. So either red can be 255 or else all can be 255. And if you exceed that color limit, it doesn't matter, it will just display the maximum limit which it has, so it won't increase the concentration or it won't stop functioning. All right, so this was the RGB color, and we'll see how to add an RGBA color. So RGB stood for red, green and blue, and RGBA stands for red, green, blue and alpha. So this alpha has a value from zero point 0.0 till 1, 1.0. Okay, you can say consider that 1.0 as well. So if I just refresh my browser, okay. So what does that alpha do is it just adjusts the opacity, like how opaque you want that color to be. Okay, so if I just style my H2 tag, all right, and I'll add a background this time. Okay, so y'all can get a better idea. Background, and for RGBA, I'll type RGBA, not RGB. So here I'll add a value, say 244, comma, and I want like only 30 of green, and say I want like 100 of 111 of say blue. I refresh it, so you see I have this particular color over here. Now if I want to increase or decrease the opacity, like how opaque you want the color to be, you can do that using this alpha option. Okay, so there's one space left, so if I just keep 0 0.5, okay, 0 0.5, I save it, refresh it, you see the concentration has decreased a bit. So if I would have used 0 0.2, save it, refresh it, it has decreased even more. So you can do that easily. I'll show you a few more examples of this RGBA. Okay, I copy this, I make this H3. So I generally prefer using these classes, but to simplify the code, I'm using this different sort of tags. Okay, so if I want to style my H3 tag, I'll open the H3 tag, open my curly brackets, and again I'll add a background, okay, with the same RGB color. Okay, I'll just increase and decrease the opacity. Okay, so right now it's 0 0.2, I keep it to 0 0.5, I refresh it, so you see I have the same RGB color. All right, but the because of increasing and decreasing the opacity, like the opaqueness, and adding a value to this A, you see this color has changed, it's looking a bit different from each other. So you can add the maximum limit, that is 1, you can leave it to 1 or you can keep it as 1.0. You see this is the maximum concentration this color can have. So if I just keep it to 0, right, and I save it, refresh it, you see I have no background color. If I just remove the 0, save it, and I just go ahead, I refresh my browser, you see I have the maximum limit, and if I just add that maximum limit again, that is 1, I save it, I refresh it, you see there's no such change. But instead of 1, if I by mistake write 0, So what will happen? This background color won't be seen at all because the opaqueness has been decreased to 0, and it's no longer or it should no longer be seen. So you can add 0 0.5, 0 0.6, 0 0.7, and so on. The maximum limit is 1. So from 0.1 till 1, you have an option to choose the shade of your choice. So you can have the same RGB color, but the opaqueness can differ from each other. All right, so we have learned RGB color. So in order for you to add an RGB color, just next to your color or next to your background, you just write RGB brackets, and then the value you can copy it from Google, or you can manipulate it on your own understanding based on what you know. You can do that as well. So if I suppose navigate this particular color, I can copy the RGB color and I can just simply paste it within my brackets. All right, if I just paste it within my brackets, so that particular color will work for me. All right, if I just go ahead, I paste it over here, then you should see this. Oops, and I paste it over. Okay, and I save it. You see this color will be seen in my H1 tag. Right, so you see this yellow ochre sort of color is being seen. So we have learned how to add a hex formatted color, how to add normal colors, that is red, blue, green, yellow, pink, or whatever. And we have learned how to add RGB and RGBA colors. So A stands for alpha, which you can assign opaqueness or how opaque or dark your color should be. Suppose you want to lighten the color, just reduce it from 1 to say 0.5 or 0.2. The value is from 1 to 0. So between 0 to 1, you can just choose a value. You cannot exceed 1. You cannot write 2 instead of 1. And it will just provide the maximum limit. It won't increase the concentration. All right, so I hope y'all have understood it. You want, I can just copy this code and share it in the chat box. So what y'all can do, you can just copy that code from the chat box, and you can just save it on your machine or on your say laptop or your desktop as you wish. Or if you're using a phone, you can save it on your phone and then later practice it. If you'll have a doubt, you can go ahead with your doubt regarding the colors. If I just reduce my font size to 100% of my browser, so you see it is just now assigning the background color to all of my text. So just because I had increased it, so it was not being seen. So you see this background color was being cut. So this is 100% of my browser's height and width, and without zoom it will show the exact background color. So if you all have a problem or else a doubt with these RGB colors or RGBA colors, or for that matter your borders, you can raise that doubt regarding borders as well. We had learned, I think so, 5 more types of borders. Yeah, 5 more types, and 3 we had learned before. So if anyone has a doubt, they can just raise that doubt. If not, then we shall proceed with today's lecture. Okay, so no one has a doubt, no problem. So we learned how to add a font style. Okay, we had learned how to add fonts. Like we didn't like this serif or this Arial font, which is by default on your browser. So what we did, we went on this notepad and we selected fonts. Okay, so in notepad you'll find like say 200, 300 fonts, but even Google offers fonts. All right, this Google, they have developers which have made fonts. So if you just type Google fonts, okay, and CSS. So you see there is this official link of Google, fonts.google.com, and then we have this W3 schools which we use a lot. So you can choose whether you want to click on this Google Fonts official website, or you can go in this W3 schools. What W3 schools does is it just explains that particular syntax, or it just explains how to use it. If I just go to google.com's official website for fonts, I can select font of my choice. You see they have 1000 fonts which you can select, right? So right now we have like robot, and then we have like different fonts, and say you like this particular font, so you can just use that font. So how to use it, I will show it to you all. And they have a link which you have to copy. All right, there say you want this font, you click on that font, and I can't find their link which you have to link to your document. Okay, so no problem, we'll use our W3 schools. Okay, we go to W3 schools website. I hope you all can see my browser. If not, then just let me know.
Can see.
Okay, thank you. So if we just go to our W3 schools, okay, yes, W3 schools, and you click on Google Fonts over here. So here they have given this particular style sheet which you have to link in order for you to use that font family. All right, so you want to use this Sophia font family, so they have shown how to use it. So you just have to go in your font family and type the name Sophia, and then sans serif. You can add it, or you, if you don't add that, so that shouldn't be an issue. So here they have given a few Google fonts. All right, over here there are a few fonts which you can use, and you can go on the Google's official website and you can select the fonts. All right, so if I go to the official web page, and I think so these fonts also provide you with a lot of variety. You can select the fonts from here as well. So let me check if they have something more about Google Fonts. Okay, they have this much only. So we'll try to get the Google Fonts from here. So say you want this particular font family, okay, you click on it and you select this style. Okay, so it will give you a link over here. All right, you can either import it or you can just link it to your style sheet. Okay, so it has given you a link, and you just copy this link rel and whatever, and you just don't make any changes. You just copy it the way it is, and you just go in your head tag and you link that style with your document. Okay, I use this particular style, so here they have given two links. Okay, you can see where link rel and href equals to this particular link, and there's another link rel href equals to another particular link. So make sure you copy both of these font styles, I mean the links, which you have to add in order for you to use that font family. All right, so I'll just remove this color code, or else I'll just keep it. Okay, it doesn't matter. And suppose I want to use this font family. Okay, I like this one. So here they have given the CSS rule as well. Use font family equal to and this particular thing. Okay, so I'll go in my h1 tag. I want this font family, so I'll write font family, and I'll paste it exactly the way Google has asked me to do it. So I won't remove this comma, I won't remove this cursor which is written, so that it doesn't get disturbed. Okay, if I just go ahead in my browser, you see it's in plain serif format. I refresh my browser, you see it has used this Google font which Google has given me. So in order for you to select a particular font, what you have to do, you have to navigate to that font. Okay, if I just reduce my browser, you see there are lots of fonts available. You can just scroll down and you'll find infinite sort of fonts. Okay, my browser is loading a bit slow. So you can select a font from here. Suppose I want to use this share font. I click on it. Either I can download the font family, but you don't need to download it. What you can do is it will give you a try it option. Okay, select this style. Okay, you have to click this. If I just zoom inside, okay, and say I want to use this particular font style. So what will I do? I will, yes, select this style, and where did that button go? So it's asking you for you to download this font family. So no problem. Suppose I want to use this font. Okay, select this type, and yes, so if you just click over here, so you can link your style sheet. So there are different sort of options you can view, and you should just find your button which where you can copy that particular style sheet. Okay, so this style sheet I'll copy, and what will I do? I'll just go in my text editor. I'll add the style sheet. It doesn't matter if you have like 10 different fonts from Google. You just copy that style sheet. So the first link, I think so it's a common link, which is https:// and fonts dot something, and only the thing which is being changed is the second link. All right, you see over here, after the slash, family equal to, and then they have written the name of the family, share plus tech and display swap, and rel equals to style sheet. So you can have n number of Google fonts in your document. Okay, I'll just remove it, I'll save it, and then the CSS rules which you have to use. Either you can use this cursive format, you can use the sans serif format, or you can use this particular one which is being displayed first. So what will I do? I'll copy that statement again. I'll go in my text editor, and now right now I'll style my h2 tag. So I'll paste that font family, and if I just go ahead, I refresh my browser, you see from serif it has changed to this particular font family. So you can use Google Fonts. It's very easy. What first step you have to do is just type Google Fonts for CSS. Then you click on the Google Fonts link, and then you select your font family of your choice. Okay, the font family of your choice. Say I like this one. Okay, PT Sans. I click on it. Then I will click on this thing. Okay. Okay, now I don't want to download it. You can download it and you can link your zip file as well, but that becomes too long. So say you want to select this one. Okay, you click select this one. So within the font families, it allows you to select a particular one, like you want the bolder one or you want a sort of an italic font style. So you just click on select the style, and it will provide you with a link. Okay, make sure you copy that link and the CSS rule, this font family PT Sans, and then you can copy that particular font family. All right, if I just select my CSS rule and I just go ahead in my h3 tag, paste it, save it, and I go in my browser, you see it is changed a bit, but it's not exactly in the font family which I wanted. So make sure you link your style sheet. Okay, the style sheet which they are providing, you copy it and you have to link it. So it's very easy. And yes, so it has changed a bit more. So this is the way you can use Google Fonts as well. Say you are using a Mac, okay, and you don't have this notepad option. I don't know Macs have a notepad or not. So what you can do, you can use Google Fonts as well. So these Google Fonts have a wide variety of fonts. So you just have to go on google.com, type Google Fonts for CSS or Google Fonts CSS, and then you select the Google's official link. Whichever font you like, you click on that font, and you have to, I'll just show it again. Suppose I like this one. So I click on it, and I'll click on this, select this style. Okay, once I click on this, select the style. Right now it's not opening that yes, select the style. And sometimes the window might open automatically. Sometimes the window, for opening the window, you have to click on this particular icon. You click on it, and then you have to copy the link, both the links, or else if you are using two or more fonts, you just copy the second link. All right, it's the second link, and then the CSS rule. So select this type, and then it will provide you with the CSS rules. All right, you can download the font families as well, but downloading and then linking it becomes quite complicated. So Google has a lot of servers, so your font will always function well. It won't provide you with an error. Like suppose Google suffers with a attack, a DOS or a DDoS attack. Still, they have so many servers that it can manage that traffic through the internet. So you can use Google Fonts for your font family. So if y'all haven't understood it, y'all can ask right now, and I shall explain you the part again about the font families, how to use Google Fonts. If you all have understood it well and good, then we shall proceed with today's lecture. If anyone has a doubt, like it can be a small doubt also, I don't mind clarifying it right now. Okay, so you all don't have a doubt, looks like, with the font families. So we shall proceed with another sort of styling. So I'll just remove these style sheets which I have linked of this Google. I'll just remove it to avoid confusion. This is my style sheet, abc.css, which is in my machine. All right, it's remove this style as well. Okay, I'll teach you all how to. There's a float attribute. All right, so say if I have an image and I have a lot of text, and I want my image to sort of stay at the side of my text. All right, so you can do that as well with a float attribute. So first I have to add an image. All right, so I'll use this image. Okay, GIF.webp. So can anyone tell me how do I add a GIF image in my browser? Say if I want to add this image, so what is the process of adding an image? Can anyone tell me?
.img.
Yes, entire syntax. So we had learned there's an image tag. Yes, there's an answer in the chat box.
Yeah.
Yes, image src, and yes, so you're right. So you have to just open and close your image. No, you don't have to close your image tag. You have to just write img and src equal to double inverted commas, and then the file. wherever you're linking. It can be a GIF image, it can be a JPEG, SVG, or else a PNG image. So it doesn't matter as long as that image is in your same folder. So the name of my image is GIFFF dot WEDP. Okay, if I just save it, I refresh my browser. So you see I have an image over here. All right, and say I have text. All right, this lorem tag I'll open. Okay, lorem, and I save it. I refresh my browser. You see this image is not, or that this text is not using this blank space. All right, it's going on the next line after the image. So what will I do if I want my text to be over here as well, right? To occupy this space as well, and then continue down also. So I'll just copy, I'll increase the text. So we have enough text. All right, I'll save it, refresh it. So you see we have lots of text. Now, if I want this text to occupy this space as well, and suppose if it's exceeding, then it shall continue downwards. So what will I do? I will copy this image tag, this entire image code which I had written. I'll paste it over here. All right. And if I just save it, refresh it, see there is still gap left. All right. It's not completely using the space which I wanted it to use. So what will I do? We have this property known as float. Okay, so I'll go in my style tag and I'll style my image. So if I have to style my image, I have to write img brackets, and I'll write float, float, and I can either send it to the left or to the right. There are only two positions, left or right. So if I just type right, I save it, I refresh it, and you can see that my text is occupying this blank space and my image is towards the right of my document, and there is some extra lines which are coming under my image. All right, so I did this float equal to right. So if I use this same attribute, okay, I'll just copy this entire thing, I'll paste it, okay, I'll save it. You see I have now two of them. So I want to provide a different styling to both of them. I want to use float equal to left in this one and float equal to right. I want to keep it the same. So how shall I do that? If I want to style two of the image tags, so how do I do it? Pardon?
Add a class.
Yes, we can use selectors, that is class or the ID. So what will I do? I'll assign a class to my first image. Make sure you are writing float right for this image, okay, not for this entire paragraph. Like if I just go ahead and I change this from image to paragraph, then the styling will change. All right, so I'll add a class to my first one, class say img1, and I add another class over here and I'll give it img2. Okay, class img2. All right, I save it. Then what will I do? Dot img1. Okay, I'll keep the first one towards the right only. Okay, and you see my second one doesn't have a float property. All right, so now I'll style my dot img2 curly brackets, float equals to left. Okay, I refresh it. So you see my image has been towards the left of my browser and the text is on the right side. Okay, you can do that. You can either use left or right. So mostly these are the two attributes which we use. Now you'll say this text is sticking too close to my image. So can anyone help me to increase this distance between my image and my text. How do I do that?
Padding.
Correct. Padding. We'll use padding. So I can either add a padding to my image, or I can add padding to, yeah, I'll add it to my image only. Okay, see, I didn't add the semicolon, so it wouldn't work. So padding, and I'll write like 10 pixels. I'll refresh it. So now it's looking a bit better. Like it's not sticking too close to my image. And I could have added a padding on this one as well. Padding equal to 10 pixels. And if I just save it, refresh it, so you see this is looking a bit more better. Okay, so instead of writing a general padding, we could have just given padding right. All right, I don't want a padding on the top, so there will only be a padding right, and there won't be padding on the other sections. So I can increase this from 10 to 15. So there's only padding for my right section. All right, not towards the left, not on the top, not on the bottom. So there are four types of padding: top, left, right, and bottom. So you can add a padding, so it will look a bit more neater and it's not sticking too close to each other. So this was about float property. So the float is either towards the left, right, or you can keep it as none as well. None. And if I save it, I refresh it, so now it is not towards the left, not towards the right. It is in the default position which it had. So if I remove this float as well, okay, save it, refresh it, so you see it's in the same position. So float equal to none. Instead of writing it, just don't write the float property. Okay, so these are the two attributes, either right or the left. So if you'll have a doubt with this float property, you can just raise that doubt. I shall clear it. If not, then shall we proceed? Okay, so someone wants to try it, so you all can try it. What I'll do, I'll just copy this code and I'll send it in the chat box so we don't waste time. You can try it later on as well. Or if you all want to try, you all can try this one. No problem. It will take like 5 minutes. And in the meantime, if you all have a doubt regarding the previous sessions as well, regarding grids or regarding your flex, I mean your backgrounds, or say how to add a video, audio, or stuff like that, so you can raise that doubt as well. It shouldn't be an issue. Say if you had missed a class, or you feel that you don't know this particular section of coding, you can just raise that doubt and I shall clarify it with you. When y'all are just done with practicing it, just let me know. So I think we will proceed. So is everyone done practicing it? Shall I move ahead? So one person has told I can move ahead. Rest, if you are still practicing it, let me know. If not, then I think we shall move ahead. I'll just remove it. Now we learn something known as hover effects. So hover means like when I just go over that text or go over that button or that image, so it shall provide you with an effect. All right, so I have buttons and stuff. So when you hover it, so it changes its color. All right, so we learn how to do that. I'll just refresh my browser. So if I just add an a tag over here and I write something link 1, I save it, I refresh it. You see, I can see this link 1 over here. Now what will I do? I can either style it internally or externally, it doesn't matter. All right, so I'll open my tag over here. I'll add say, first thing I'll do, I'll just remove this underline. So for removing this underline, what do I have to write? Can anyone answer it? This question. If I want to remove this underline over here, it's looking very ugly. I don't like it. So what will I do?
Text decoration none.
Yes, text decoration equals to none. All right, save it, refresh it. You see this underline has gone. So now I'll add a color, say black. Uh, I'll keep this color as aqua. Background to black. I save it, I refresh it. You see that I have this color and this background. All right, so this is just basic styling. Now what do I want is when a person goes over my link, when he hovers over it, I want an effect to take place. I want something to change. So it can be for your paragraph tag, same styling. It can be for any tag. You can use this styling for any tag. So the name of your tag, then this colon, and then hover. Okay. So what does this mean? Like when a person hovers over my a tag, so this particular function should take place. So what we can do in this function, we can change the color, we can add, we can change the background, we can change the font size, we can change the font family, we can do absolutely everything, whatever we wish. So if I just change the color from aqua to say white, I save it, I refresh it. You see, when I go over it, my link color is changing to white. It's no longer staying aqua. So similarly, I can change my background as well. Background from say black to, you can invert the colors. All right. So suppose if you had used, I'll just show it. Okay, I save it, refresh it. So when I hover on it, you see my background is changing to aqua and my color is changing to black. So what will I do? I'll add some more effects. All right, so border radius equals to 25 pixels. So border radius is basically to curve my borders. So you see my borders have been curved. I'll add a padding because this text is coming out. Padding, and I'll write like 10 pixels. So I have given it a padding. If I just okay, and I'll give it a margin. Sticking too much towards my, I'll give it a margin as well. Okay, margin top, and I'll write 15 pixels. Okay, refresh it. It's not working. I'll increase it to say 65. Oh, it's still not working. I'll give a padding to my body only. I think I've zoomed it too much, therefore it was not displaying that well. So you see, I have a curved border, and when I hover on it, so it's changing its color. So what we can do, transition delay. Okay, you can delay the transition delay, and you can delay it by like 0.2 seconds. Okay, and save it. And when I hover on it, it takes like 0.2 seconds. If I increase it from 0.2 seconds to say an entire second, okay, it's too long. So when I'm here, it takes 1 second and it will change the color. So this is the way you can use this hover attribute. You can change the font size as well. So you feel this font size is too small, you can increase it to say 55 pixels when the person hovers it. Okay, so it's changed to 55 pixels. It's 1 second long, therefore it's appearing too long for the change. So I'll make it like 0.4 seconds. Okay, refresh it. So within 0.4 seconds, what is happening? My color is changing, my background is changing, and my font size is also changing. So this transition delay is just it just delays the transition and nothing else. So you can keep it and you can remove it as well. So you can change the font family also. Say from font family, I want say monospace. I'll save it, refresh it. So from serif, it will change to monospace. Okay, it's getting cut. Why? Because my browser is zoomed in too much. I'll just decrease it. Okay, now I'll zoom in it. So when I hover it, you see it's this font family is also changing from serif to monospace. So you see there's some like a sort of a delay kind of thing, but we generally don't change the font family. We either change the size, color, background, and stuff like that. So you can keep this hover effect for your paragraph tags as well. All right. So even for your image tag, so you can add a border also. Okay. So right now it's round. So I want to change it from round to say normal. Like I don't want this border radius. Border radius say 0. All right, save it, refresh it. So when I hover it, see I don't have a border radius anymore. You see, I don't have a border radius anymore. So you can make as many changes as you want. You can add a border as well. So border radius, I'll keep it. I like this attribute. So the border, I'll add a border. Okay, 2 pixel solid black. All right, save it. When I hover it, you see I have a small 2 pixel border, which is there when I hover, and it's no longer there. Why? Because I'm not hovering on my button over here. You can give the same attribute to any tag. All right, it can be a paragraph tag, it can be your button, it can be your image tag as well. So for an image, what we will do, okay, I'll show you. What you can do is you can just add a border sort of a thing when the person hovers it, or you can like change the position from say you can make it float towards the left, right, or you can align it according to your need, or you can increase the size of your image. Okay, I'll just add an image. SRC, so there we go. Okay, I have this image over here. Right, I can see this image over here. Now I want to add a hover effect to my image. So I'll write image in this colon and hover. Okay, once I write hover, and what I can do, I can add any attribute. All right, so once a person hovers on it, I want to add sort of a border. Okay, not a border, radius, a border, and say like 5 pixel. Okay, dotted green. I refresh it, so once a person hovers it, he sees that there's a border. So you can increase the size as well. Height, say from its default height, you want to increase it to sort of 40 pixels. I think 40 will become too small. Let's see. So when I hover it, okay, it's not changing the font size so much. Yes, now it's become 40 pixels. It's small. Okay, 100%. So from 40, I'll change it to say uh 300. 300 will zoom in the height. So the height is becoming larger. So similarly, you can increase the width as well with from the default width. It looks like it's like I'll change it to say 450 pixels. Save it, refresh it. When I hover it, you see my images getting zoomed. All right, so this hover effect can be for your paragraph tag, it can be for your image tag, it can be for your h1 tag as well. Like you want to change the header color when someone hovers it, so it will change. It should function perfectly. If you'll have a doubt with the hover effect, you can just raise that doubt. Anyone has a doubt? And if not, then we have like 7 more minutes. I'll just show you all one small property, that is shadow. You can either add a box shadow, text shadow according to your need, and then you write the value of the shadow, say 2 pixel gray. I've added to my box over here, I mean to my button over here. So 2 pixel, I'll give it a bit more. Okay, 8 pixel. You see there's a sort of a shadow over here. You'll see the shadow. So you can add a shadow to your respective image or your button to anything. All right, so what I generally prefer is I use this. All right, so I use 0 0 and then say 10 pixels and then gray. So you see there is a lighter shadow, okay, over here, and then I want a bit more, so 0 0, and I'll write like over here 20 pixels. So the shadow will extend till 20 pixels. All right, so and then the color of the shadow, this is gray. Okay, I forgot to add a comma over here. Yes. Oops. Comma. Yes. Now you see the shadow has increased, so I can increase this 20 to say 40. So it will display that particular shadow. So I generally prefer adding a lot of shadow, like I've added this much. So I add like say 40, I add another comma, change 20 to 30, and another comma, and 32 again 40. So you see this shadow has increased a bit more. Can you see it if I just increase the font size? So can you see the shadow has increased itself? So this is the way you can add a lighter shadow instead of just writing 10 pixels gray and something like that. So it becomes a very dark shadow. So I use the 0, 0 and then the shadow color. You can keep this color in any format. All right. So it can be a hover effect as well. So we generally prefer it to be a hover effect. So I'll just and I'll paste it over here. Okay, Control X and paste it over here. Okay, save it. I refresh it. I refresh my browser. You see right now there's no shadow, but when I hover it, so I can see my shadow. Okay, I'll just remove this image hover forward slash. Okay, so once I hover it, I can see. Okay, I forgot to refresh my browser. Yes. I'll just remove this image. Alright, so when I hover it, I see a shadow. Alright, so I think there's something in the chat box. Yes, I can explain the 0, 0, 0 and then the 10 pixels. So what happens if you just write this? Okay, you write like 5 pixels and gray. Okay, I save it. I refresh my browser, and when I hover it, you see there's a very dark shadow, a very prominent shadow over here. Can you see it? So the reason we add this 0, 0, 0 is because to decrease the color of the shadow effect. Okay, so if I just add a 0 and just a single 0, refresh my browser, you see the darkness has decreased. All right, so what is happening? It's covering the entire below section. Okay, the down section, it's covering it entirely. So then I add another 0. It's basically like the coordinates and the color gets expanded. So now it's covered another part of my section. Like you can see now the shadow is visible on the left and the right as well. Before it was visible only on the bottom section, that is the below one. So I'll add another 0. So it just makes your shadow a bit lighter in color. Okay. So after every like 4, 5, you have to write the color. Okay, and comma. So if you write the 0 thing, it makes your shadow a bit more. It looks like a shadow more. Like you see, there's a small effect. So if I change this 5 to say 15, so it will increase this particular section of my shadow. Okay, so if I just add a shadow from say 15 pixels and not from my starting point, that is say 5 pixels or something, add a comma, so there will be sort of a gap over here. Paste and I make this like 35. Okay, so you should generally prefer from starting the pixels from say, yes, from like 5 or 10 the max, so your shadow will have like sort of a darker effect. It's just basically for your shadow to have an effect over all these places. Like over here on the top, it has 35 pixel this covering, and the bottom you see there's a lighter shadow. Right, so you can increase it and decrease it according to your requirement. Okay, I write 35 over here as well. You see the bottom also has 35 pixel shadow and the top portion also has a 35 pixel shadow. Okay, and the left and the right have 15 pixels. So I can change that to say 35 or again. Now all the sides have 35 pixel shadow. So this is your, I think so when you practice it, you will come to know which is your top left and bottom. So if I change this gray to say, I'm sorry, I got cut out of this meeting. So I was just explaining all the shadow part. So have you all understood how it works? So basically this covers the space from 0.05 pixels. Yes. So now if I've added 0.05 pixels over here and I change this to add different colors. So it's covering this sort of a green, and then it's giving like a darker shade. So you can, we generally prefer keeping it a similar color so that it avoids confusion and it looks good. So I have used this neon color, which makes my button look even more brighter when I hover it. So there is neon green, neon blue, and stuff like that. So I think so, like it's past 10 and the time is up. If you all have a doubt, the ones who have a doubt, they can stay, and I think so it's done for today. Like today's session is, we have covered and if you all have a doubt, you can just wait back and you can just raise that doubt, and others can just leave. So that was all for today.